and appalling treatment of Clery's workers and concession holders. Now, just to go through some of the facts, Boston-based vulture capitalist Gordon Brothers bought Clery's in 2012 for a figure believed to be around €2 million. This sale was made possible by the Bank of Ireland writing off €10 million of Clery's debts and lending the same amount to Gordon Brothers. In July 2013, 80 staff were laid off at Clery's, while Gordon Brothers are believed to have received €14 million in insurance for flood damage. Gordon Brothers separated Clery's retail business from its property assets by setting up OCS operations and OCS properties before selling the latter for $29 million to Natrium Limited last week. Natrium was only incorporated on May the 27th as a vehicle for the purchase of Clery's assets. Natrium Limited, which now owns Clery's, is a joint venture between Cheney Capital Management and D2 Private. A senior executive at Cheney is a former NAMA executive. D2 is run by a former KPMG employee. KPMG are also the special liquidators at Clery's. You will recall that KPMG Cloncooley also featured in the IBRC scandal and the sell-off of its assets. Clery's retail business, now OCS operations, was placed into liquidation before the property assets were sold off. There is no provision for redundancy, holiday pay or other staff-related costs or pensions. No fairness for employees or concession holders. And all of this is entirely legal under this government's watch. It's also obviously sharp practice. It's clear that the legislation needs to be amended. Sinn Féin's Peadar Tóibín has published a bill to do this. Taoiseach, will you support this bill?
Taoiseach.
Thank you, Deputy Adams. We've referred to this yesterday, and the insensitive treatment of the workers in Clery's, some of whom have given 4 decades plus of service, of loyal service to the company or the companies over those years. Understand that the Taoiseach is currently meeting with numbers of the workers in Clery's, and Minister Nash, in respect of his responsibilities as Minister for Business, met with the liquidator and has pointed out the duty that he has and the responsibility that the representatives of the new company would meet with the workers directly. Now, you mention the bill prepared by your party, by Deputy Tóibín. Yesterday I pointed out, Deputy, that the government has actually strengthened the laws in this particular area with the new Consolidated Companies Act, which was enacted last year, which had been going on for about a decade and which included over 1,000 different amendments. It is up to the creditors to seek legal advice as to whether the provisions in the updated Companies Act could be relevant to the present position. I've asked Minister Nash to prepare a report on the evolution of the circumstances here, and that Minister Bruton will consider whether it would be useful or appropriate to have the Company Law Review Group look at this issue and whether it might be appropriate to make changes in respect of the way this particular situation evolved, so as to prevent a situation like this again. I temper that, though, Deputy Adams, by saying that the range of company law can be quite complex. I spoke this morning to somebody who has a commission in Clery's. Some of these companies are able to move their now redundant staff from Clery's to their other premises, and some are not. And clearly there's an issue here that needs to be resolved quickly. As I pointed out yesterday, the Department of Social Protection, on the direction of the Taoiseach, have assembled a team of people to meet and to advise now redundant workers of their rights and their entitlements, their job seeker payments, their secondary payments, such as rent supplement and future options in regard to other training or alternative employment and education in the time ahead. That doesn't deal with the issue that happened so insensitively when this meeting was called. You're aware that SIP2 have made arrangements for Liberty Hall to be available for the workers today. Obviously, it's better to have that facility so that everybody can have access to the fullest range of information arising from this. And as I pointed out yesterday, Deputy Adams, the Department of Social Protection will see to it that there is absolutely no delay in processing the due payments under the redundancy protection scheme for workers. That means that they can be claimed quickly and paid quickly because of the suddenness of this particular situation. So in regard to the bill prepared by Deputy Taoiseach on behalf of your party, I think it more appropriate that the Company Law Review Group should look at the circumstances here, and Minister Bruton will advise on that in due course, Deputy.
Deputy Adams.
I don't think it's good enough, Taoiseach, with respect. The fact is you're dealing with the aftermath of the problem. You're not dealing with the problem. And the problem is that there's a culture which allows golden circles and insiders, which actually ferments inequality. I mean, if we just look at this, I mentioned D2 and...
Sorry, we shouldn't get into the area of apportioning blame. This is a private development that has to be, we can't name people and...
I'm not blaming anyone,
semi-accused people.
I've made it clear that there's nothing illegal in what's going on.
Thank you.
But D2 investors have included Sean Fitzpatrick of Anglo-Irish Bank. It includes the former Fine Gael Attorney General. Liquidators KPMG have also worked as auditors for D2 Private. So Clery's liquidators also worked for the purchaser. Are there not clear conflicts of interest there? And furthermore, if you scrutinise the company's registration office, this lists a man called Raphael Klutz as a director of both OCS operations and so OCS properties. And this gentleman is also the senior managing director of Gordon Brothers. So the bill put forward by Chocta Tobin seeks to correct the anomaly which allows unscrupulous employers to not protect the rights of their employees. Because I think this, and I am making this accusation, Concordia, I think this is a perfect example of a few rogue employers separating the legal personality of a company from its directors, thus protecting them from liability of the business obligations to its employees in the case of tactical insolvency. And this is a case of tactical insolvency. Remember, Concordia, Gordon Brothers left Dublin after shafting the concession holders and the workers with an extraordinary profit of 19 million euros. It's all golden circles, insiders, networks within networks, and all legal under the company law which this government introduced. So I'm asking that you commit to supporting to allow the passage of legislation to rectify this, but also to do it, Taoiseach, before you leave office.
Thank you.
Well, as I said to you, the government actually introduced a strengthened Company Law Act last year, which was in gestation over a number of periods of government over the last decade. What I do commit to is that the Company Law Review Group, which is headed by a very eminent person, should look at this particular issue to see whether it's appropriate that some changes should be made to the law as enacted in order to prevent this kind of situation arising again. I stress to you, however, Deputy Adams, that company law in its entirety is quite a complex document, but I do undertake that the Company Law Review Group, on the direction of Minister Bruton, following Minister Nash's report to Cancora, will look at the situation and will report to the House on that.
Thank you. Deputy Tom Fleming.